Someone broke into my house last night. We ended up sleeping together. I'm terrified. I am a physicist here in Toronto and met the man of my dreams about 8 years ago. We've been married for approximately 5 years and he's my everything. He makes me laugh. He makes me smile. But the man that came into my house yesterday was not my husband, and I have no idea what's going on. Christopher, my husband, left for a business trip 5 days ago. He's a lawyer and occasionally has to travel for work. He left Pearson International Airport and called me when he landed at Vienna. I have a bit of separation anxiety when it comes to being away from him, so he calls me a lot to comfort me. He called me after he got through customs, and when he got to the hotel. Nothing long, just a "hey honey, I'm here" kind of call. We always preferred phone calls since we text with everyone else, and decided that calling would be our thing. I went about the last 4 days as I usually would, doing chores, usual stuff. Yesterday, Christopher was scheduled to fly back to Toronto. He called me from Vienna after he got into the lounge at the airport, and told me that he was super tired and was going to pass out on the plane. I was happy that he was finally going to get some rest after what sounded like an atrociously busy trip. Poor guy, he works so hard. His flight was scheduled to arrive at 11 p.m., and I had an early class to teach today, so I decided to make dinner and leave it in the fridge for him. After teaching all day, I realized that 11 p.m. had come and gone, and I didn't get word from Christopher, but I just assumed that his flight was delayed. He had a layover in London, and I know that they have some pretty brilliant thunderstorms this time of year, so I just figured that his flight was delayed. When 12 p.m. rolled around, I started to get a bit more worried. Maybe he lost his phone, but then all of my feelings were allayed. I got a text. I know that Christopher was tired and that he usually doesn't sleep well on flights, so I assumed that he just wanted to reassure me. That's why he texted instead of calling. He said, "Just landed, we'll be home soon." I decided to get ready for and see him in the morning, so I went to the bathroom, took out my contacts, and fell asleep. I don't know how long after receiving that text I fell asleep, but I was out cold. A few hours later, I heard the latch turn, and I heard Chris's usually heavy footsteps climb up the stairs. He went to the bathroom and did his usual routine, except he left the water running. I thought that was a bit strange. He's usually very particular about turning off the tap so as to not waste water. Not because of the bills, but because of the whole environmentalism kick that he'd been on for the past couple of years. I was drifting in and out of sleep, but I wanted to see him before I fully passed out. He came into the room and something seemed different. Nothing that scared me, but just seemed off. I have terrible vision and my glasses were not near the bed since I normally wore contacts. I looked over and his upper lip looked swollen, like if he had been stung by a bee, and I could see a lot more gum and teeth than normal and had a very broad smile, like he missed me and was glad to see me. I asked him, "Babe, are you okay? What's up with your lip?" He quickly told me not to worry and it was just chapped from being on the plane. I agreed and, still half asleep, drifted off again. About 2 hours later, I rolled over and noticed that Chris's back was towards me. Whatever. Nothing strange. That's when I put my arm around him. He felt thicker. That's the only way to describe it. I know what my man feels like, and he just felt like a thicker, broader version of him. My general level of unease was starting to get stronger at this point, but still not being fully awake. I just chalked it up to nothing. This morning I woke up and Christopher was gone. His suitcase was still there, he had changed his clothes, but he was gone. I called him. No answer. He, however, quickly texted me back the following at the gym. "Love you, we'll be home after you leave." Good, I thought, maybe he could work.